flight to quality. Simple, okay? And gold is among a handful of financial assets that does not rely on an issuer's promise to pay. Has anyone got any money on them? Fantastic. Go pull some money out of your pocket. I don't want to take it. It's okay. You can pull it out. I just want you to read something on it. So if you've got like a note or something, just read this. Underneath the Bank of England, it says, I promise to pay the bearer on demand the sum of £5. Everyone see that? Right? What is a pound? Right? Pound is a denomination of a currency. So don't you ever ask yourself, what is this pound worth? Does that make sense? Why don't people ask themselves, what is this pound worth? And how come I can't get? You know, in the olden days, before the 70s, they used to say, I promise to pay the bearer the sum in gold. Okay? Now it's pounds. And pounds can be printed, as we know. But we'll go into a lot more detail as we go along. Now, gold provides insurance against movements in the market that often occur in stocks, etc., like, you know, market crashes, terrorist attacks, etc., etc. Gold, it has a completely different set of things that affect the price of it. Okay. Gold provides a portfolio diversification. Many investment portfolios you may be able to relate. Many portfolios are primarily in traditional asset classes such as stocks, bonds, property, etc., etc. Right? Portfolios containing gold are generally less volatile than those do not. Gold also provides an inflation hedge. I'm going to explain to you how inflation is created, but I just want you to know that gold provides an inflation hedge in uncertain times. And market cycles come and go, but in the long term, gold keeps its purchasing power. By the way, guys, wealth is nothing more than your purchasing power. Write that down. If that doesn't make sense, I'll say it again. Wealth is nothing more than your purchasing power. Wealth is not the amount of houses you own. Wealth is not the amount of gold you own. Wealth is not the amount of stocks you own. Wealth is what can you do with those stocks. If I want to take those stocks and go and buy something, can I? Yes or no. Simple as that. That's wealth. Do not get infatuated with the vehicle for wealth. I want you to make that very important to you. Does that make sense, guys? Yeah? Okay. And gold, yeah, so it's bought to counter the effects of inflation. And also it's used as a dollar hedge too. Gold is often used as an effective hedge against fluctuations in the US dollar. How it generally works is if the dollar appreciates, the dollar gold price falls, and vice versa. Also, for risk management, on the whole, gold is significantly less volatile than any other asset class. So if you've got a large risk in your portfolio, you can stabilize that by transferring some of your wealth into gold. Does that make sense? Okay. And again, risk factors that affect gold are much more different than anything else. Gold's price is affected by supply and demand. By the way, what I'm taking you through here is the basics. Does that make sense? I'm taking you through the basics of gold and silver. Why? Because I want to show you how to make money with this stuff. How many people want to know how to make money with this stuff? Do we need to step back into my office? How many people want to know how to make money with this stuff? Right? So if you want to learn how to make money with something, do you or do you not need to know how the basics work? Yes. Thank you. Let's finish these basics quickly so we can get on to the money making. Now, the price responds to a demand change in supply and demand, right? If there's more demand, the price goes up. If there's more supply, the price goes down. Simple. Demand has shown a sustained growth in emerging markets of India, China, and Russia. Would you agree that there's a few billionaires popping up in India, China, and Russia, right? And these guys want to protect their wealth. They're not going to put it in the US dollar because there's a couple of things I'm going to explain to you afterwards. So they're running towards gold, okay? And this has created the foundation for the most positive outlook that the precious metal has seen in a decade, easily. And that's from now. That's not from 10 years ago. That's from now. And in the past year, the climb for gold above 1,900 per ounce is due to many factors, one being that people are losing faith in the dollar. So, the dollar is weak. Would you agree? Yes. is getting weaker. Would you agree? Okay. In the last 5 years, it's the beginning of a major bull move in gold, similar to the 70s, where gold went from $38 to over $800 an ounce. Right? Would you agree that the amount of increasing attention for gold is going to drive the price up? Right. So, and central banks in several countries have stated and acted on their intent to buy more gold. Central banks are the banks that issue the world's currencies. Now, if those guys are protecting themselves with gold and silver, do you think a little bit of your portfolio needs to be gold and silver? Yes. Right, fantastic. Worldwide gold production is not matching the consumption and institutional demand. Write down institutional demand. Most people don't look at that. Most people do not look at institutional demand of gold and silver. Most gold consumption is done in India, China, India for mainly like jewelry, etc., and China has been promoting the use of gold and silver as asset protecting vehicles. And then there's a creation of institutionalized gold and silver securities. Write that down. Institutionalized gold and silver securities, which has increased demand. And with Gold for Life, what I'm going to talk about, now we've been through the basics, gold and silver become income-generating assets. You know, Mark was talking about that book by Mike Maloney? Yes? Okay. In that